Hey, what's up, guys? It's Spencer with the Fantasy Fanatics. I am here with Nathan. Nathan, we got running backs today.
We got running back. It is week 3. Glad you could join us for this. We hope to help you out with setting your lineups. I know it's tough. Early season is very hard to predict. We're starting to get a feel for it, how the teams are operating, who's good, who sucks, and we're gonna let you know. We got elite, we got great, we got good, decent, and bench as well, right?
No bench. Because
No bench here.
I feel like all 30 of these running backs, you're probably starting them.
Yeah, in a standard 12-team league, yeah, decent's probably like your bottom of the line flex plays. So I get it. You want to start us off with Miles Sanders?
Yeah, if we get anybody who we feel like should be on the bench, then
we'll just leave him at the bottom.
I see a couple guys. You know what? We're gonna make some in video changes.
This is groundbreaking, never done before.
Oh man.
What are you doing?
This video sucks.
Yeah, people just clicked off the video. For those who are, staying through this, I apologize. Spencer just doesn't know what the heck he's doing.
I am sorry.
All right, let's roll with it.
Miles Sanders is going to be we have him at 25. I have him at good.
He looked pretty good.
He didn't look all. I don't think he looked all that great last night. They were
really
up, so they were running. What was his stats exactly?
I want to say he had. This is off the top of the dome. 17 carries. I thought he got the ball quite a bit. Maybe I'm dreaming that up. I thought he had about 70, 80 yards.
20 touches for 86 yards.
Okay.
I just don't think that's all great. I expect more from Miles Sanders if he's getting 20 touches. We were talking about how we think he is a stud but can't get the ball enough. He finally got the ball enough and wasn't all that efficient, right at about 4 yards per touch. So, you expect more, and you'll probably get more, and you'll probably, Jalen Hurts ran a long one in. Did he have 2 running touchdowns, I think?
He did, and both of them were insane efforts.
Yeah.
So, he shouldn't have scored either of them.
So I expect Miles Sanders to, score more touchdowns. Better weeks are ahead for Miles Sanders, even though, last night wasn't that bad, but he's going to be more efficient with his touches.
Yeah. Next we got Zeke. I think finds the good tier as well. Hasn't looked too great, but they have a good matchup against the Giants. Hopefully Cooper Rush keeps the ship afloat. And Tony Pollard vultured a touchdown last week. I don't expect that to happen again. I'm predicting Zeke falls in the end zone this week. Should be. Most people probably have him as a flex play. I think it's going to be fine. I think if you've got him as your flex, I'm not really too worried about him this week. I know that may be kind of against the common narrative with Zeke this year, but I think he'll get it going against the Giants.
Yeah. James Conner, if he does play, we have him at 16. I have him at 15. You have him at 18. I think he is a great play this week.
Okay.
Especially in PPR formats. He loves to catch balls. And that offense is explosive. So, I think it's a good bet to say that James Conner is going to score a touchdown that week ahead. Like, he's just a touchdown machine.
He is, for sure. Aaron Jones, speaking of touchdowns, I'm going to play him in the great tier as well. We've got him at RB13. Tough matchup at Tampa Bay.
Really tough matchup.
I don't think Tampa Bay is going to quite have the firepower to just like blow Green Bay out of the water. Maybe if they had Mike Evans and Godwin and Julio and all those guys healthy, then maybe it gets a little bit of a bad game script. But Aaron Jones is just so talented. If you've got him, you got to play him. He's a great option.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this one with Josh Jacobs. I want to put him here. I just can't yet. He has, a pretty decent matchup with Tennessee. I know Tennessee's defense didn't look all that great last night, but they were good against the run. Buffalo's run offense sucks, though. But Josh Jacobs, with that offense, going to score some touchdowns. Just not very efficient with his touches, kind of like Miles Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not a sexy play, but he's a safe play, I think.
Yeah, you're banking on a touchdown. We say this every week with him. Yep. Clyde finds a good tier as well. Talk about someone who has been very productive with their touches. Has been sharing time with mainly McKinnon and a little bit of Pacheco. But when Clyde's been in there, they've been giving him the ball. He's looked really good. He's had a couple of nice long runs. Found the end zone a couple of times. Like like with Zeke, he's probably a flex play, maybe RB2 for you. I think you can feel confident with them at Indy. You saw what Jacksonville just did to Indy, so I think the Chiefs will be fine.
Yep. David Montgomery, right in the middle of Aaron Jones and James Conner. Looked really good on Sunday Night Football. Looked really bad week 1. I think we kind of find a middle. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet this year.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably see that keeping up. I mean, I could see David Montgomery not scoring a lot of touchdowns, but David Montgomery is just so good that you can't rank him anywhere outside of like the top 20.
Yeah,
like
and they play Houston.
Yeah, I have him at 19. You have him at 13, so you're a little bit higher on him than I am. You see him as like a top tier RB2, maybe even borderline RB1 play. I have him more around that mid to low RB2, just because that offense is so bad.
For sure. The first player to make our elite tier is Christian McCaffrey. They play the Saints. Not the best matchup, but Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey. He is our average RB2 this week, right behind Jonathan Taylor. He's going to get plenty of volume. You can't go wrong. If you got him, it's a no-brainer starting him. He had like an off week last week, and I still think he put up, 120, 30 total yards?
Yeah, he put up 130 yards, and he's kind of had a slow start to the year. He's averaging 13 points standard a game. I mean, you expect maybe even double that.
Yeah, PPR, I think he was closer to 20.
Yeah,
so can't go wrong.
If you have like any of these, top tier guys, you're not even worried about it. You're up, right?
No, that's you.
Oh, Leonard Fournette. I'm trying to figure out if I should put him in that elite. I think I'm gonna put him in the great, but with his snap percentage and Tom Brady saying that you know what?
I think great's the right play. Elite's got to be like the dudes.
Yeah. It's just he's so like his snap percentage. I think he led this. Oh no, he was second behind McCaffrey. McCaffrey had like 94 or something like that, ridiculous. But Leonard Fournette had 87. That's so stupidly good, and
it's good floor.
I could see it keeping up too. Mm-hmm. Like he had a bad week against New Orleans has a good defense. He had a bad week last week. He still put up like 80 yards, and didn't find the end zone. But I could see him score. I could see him like leading the league in touchdowns. I think he's that good.
For sure. Next, we've got J.K. Dobbins. He is our RB29. I'm a little nervous about this. Yeah, I think you got to leave him on the bench just for now.
Yeah, I put him there just because, is he playing and is he going to play more than like 30% of snaps this week?
That's tough, but he's so talented. Maybe he just makes onto the decent play. I want to see it first. We've got him at 29. It's risky, but first game back from an ACL tear, it's tough. Their offense looks really good, and they need a stud running back because the running game, other than Lamar, hasn't gotten going. So hopefully he's that guy.
And it's something a little encouraging. It sounds like he was ready like week 1, but they are being super safe with him, which I love. He's a young player. You don't want to rush him out there too soon.
For sure.
So they're being safe with him. I don't think they're going to send him out there if he's limited. Like, maybe they might limit him to like 40, 50% of snaps, but I don't think they're going to send him out there if he's hurt.
Yeah, in the preseason, him and Ian Rappaport were getting like a beef back and forth because Rappaport was saying he wasn't going to be ready, which Rappaport ended up being right. So Dobbins must have been close if he was confident enough to say, like, I'll be there.
He probably was ready, but the Ravens are just like, you know what, get 2 weeks of practice, cutting and everything. So I don't hate that decision by the Ravens at all.
Yeah.
But Joe Mixon, I think he's elite. His usage,
without a doubt,
his touchdowns,
the Jets.
He's so good. He reminds me a little bit of Le'Veon Bell, like just the patience, like kind of a Walmart. Is he a Walmart Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah, he's a Walmart Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell is like the best running back in the league.
Like Le'Veon Bell was so good.
And is Joe Mixon going to knock out Adrian Peterson? Even though he did knock out somebody in college, but
oh no! Why did you just say that? All right, on to Antonio Gibson for you.
Antonio Gibson, we're going to put him in the great tier. They play the Eagles. I expect that to be a high-scoring game. Antonio Gibson has looked good. He's got to get it in before Brian Robinson gets back week 5. I mean, honestly, if he has bad weeks, they could just very easily plug Brian Robinson in. But Gibson's looked good. I think he's probably your RB2. in most of your leagues, you should feel confident playing him. Carson Wentz look good. I could see him scoring as well.
Yep, Damien Harris. We have Damien Harris. I'm trying to find him. 24, right above Miles Sanders. There he is. He's in the good tier. I like playing Miles Sanders above like Damien Harris most weeks. Ramondre is dealing with an injury. Or no, Damien's dealing with an injury. I'm sorry. I mixed that up there for a second. I don't really have much to explain of why I ranked Damien Harris above Miles Sanders. If I had to do it again, I would rank Miles Sanders above Damien Harris.
Fraud. All right.
I am a fraud. Wow. I hate my rankings. Like, that's the first one I've ever pointed out to where I'm like, what are you doing?
Kareem Hunt, we're gonna put in the decent tier. Splitting time with Nick Chubb, and when Nick Chubb scores 3 touchdowns in a game and inadvertently loses the game versus the Jets, why would you give the ball to Kareem Hunt when you have that dude running the ball? He's a flex play. He should get some okay volume. They played the Pittsburgh Steelers without TJ Watt, but Kareem Hunt should be. He's a flex play. You're hoping he finds the end zone. I just don't think he does this week.
Yeah, not a sexy play, but he's going to give you points.
Yeah,
Cordell Patterson, we have him. I think at the good tier above Damien Harris. Is he the same Cordell? Had a rough week last week. Had an awesome week 1. They were facing the Rams last week. It was a negative game script for most of the game. They faced Seattle, so this could be like a get-right game. I have him at 20. He does crack my top 20. You have him at 23. So great matchup. Let's see what he can do.
Jonathan Taylor, the number 1 running back in fantasy until DeAndre Swift passes him. Set it, forget it. You're going to get an ungodly amount. I know he had, kind of an off week last week, but that was a fluke. They played the Jaguars without Pittman, without Alec Pierce. They were, they had one guy to stop. It was Jonathan Taylor. I don't expect them to be able to stop him again. This week they play the Chiefs, so they're going to have to get it going to keep up. I think the J train gets rolling again.
Yeah, you're going to hate me for this. Travis Etienne, he's behind JK. He's at 30 for us. I do think he has that top 20 potential. We said it in the earlier video. He's got to,
He'll be on my bench. He'll be on my bench this week.
I think he's playing like 40 to 50% of snaps. He's got to show that he's better than James Robinson before he can really, emerge as the RB1 in Jacksonville. I don't even think he has to become the RB1 in Jacksonville to be fantasy relevant. I think he's got to be a better pass catcher. I think you're kind of counting on a touchdown right now with him. I know maybe you can speak on this, but you're kind of counting on a touchdown with him. He dropped 2, or he dropped 1 week 1, got overthrown in the end zone.
Yeah,
another one. It's just not a great floor play. I think you got to sit him until he emerges.
Yeah, not a good floor. Decent ceiling, but he looks explosive, so I think it's a matter of time before a big play happens.
Yeah, so just this week, I think he's got to be on the bench.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara, we currently do not have him ranked, but if he does play, I've got him in the great tier. They're playing Carolina, so matchup. Kamara hasn't looked like normal Kamara this year, and especially if he's injured. Mark Ingram didn't look anything great, so they may just go back to feeding Kamara nonstop. But with all those passing options, with Olave, with Michael Thomas, and Landry, there may not be much need for Kamara, and Jameis Winston normally doesn't like to throw to his running back, so normally in past years he'd be in the elite tier, no doubt. This year he's going to find the great tier a lot.
Yeah, I put him in here just because I wasn't sure if he's going to play. I want to be on the safer side.
Yeah.
In case he does play, I just want people to know where we do have him.
For sure.
But Derrick Henry still is going to find the elite tier. I say still. I mean, he's struggled the past 2 weeks. He scored a touchdown last week, but he was averaging like 1.5 yards per carry.
They were playing the Bills defense, though.
But he didn't look great against the Giants either. And
it's Derrick Henry. It is Derrick Henry.
So, a lot of people are saying, oh, is he slowing down because of the injury? Possibly. I'm not worried.
I don't think so. I don't think tackling Derrick Henry is like going out in your driveway and trying to tackle your truck. I think Derrick Henry is going to be fine. He'll get it going.
All right, next.
Najee Harris, some people had some scares. He finds the great tier. He had some scares with the injury last week. He ended up playing, looked all right. The Pittsburgh offense just sucks.
He has some scares as like in number 10.
He has what?
He has some scares like Mitchell Trubisky's his quarterback.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how Kenny Pickett does. I think we will see Kenny Pickett pretty soon, to be honest.
Could we see him Thursday night?
I don't think we'll see him Thursday night on a short week. Maybe week 4 if they really stink, but
they have been so bad.
Yeah, that offense has been very dysfunctional. Deontay hasn't looked anything special. Claypool hadn't looked anything special. Najee, nothing. So
they've got to blame it on someone. Is it the OC or is it the quarterback? You got to
a little both.
I think you got to fire one of them. You got to get one of them out of there.
I mean, you don't draft Kenny Pickett though to not play.
You still have like playoff hopes. Like as crazy as it is, that's a good roster.
Yeah, and especially to get TJ Watt back in the end of the season.
Yeah, good defense, good receivers, good running backs. Got to figure out what's going on before it's too late.
Correct.
But Saquon Barkley, I talked about this a little bit. I am a little worried about Saquon. I am not as high as him as most. You have him at 5. I have him at 10. He is a tough matchup. Like we were saying, Dallas made Joe Mixon a buy low candidate. I think Saquon could be a buy low candidate after this week. I probably will still have him ranked around 10 to 12 most weeks unless he could show, that week 1 explosiveness. We were watching the whole Carolina Giants game. He just, he didn't look explosive. The offensive line looked bad. The offense looked bad. So, I mean, better days are ahead, but my worry meter is like at a 4 out of 10.
Sure. Damian Pierce, I think he finds the decent tier. He finally kind of broke away from Burkhead last week. He looked decent. Just Houston's offense isn't too great. They play Chicago. In Chicago, so-so matchup. Just because I don't think Chicago is going to score many points. So he should get plenty of touches. This Houston's offense just sucks. Damian Pierce could be really good, and he's just being hidden by Davis Mills and the whole Houston offense. But he's probably a flex play best.
Yep. Nick Chubb, I have him right behind Leonard Fournette. He's been so good this year. And people were fading him because, he doesn't offer much as a pass catcher. He still has Kareem Hunt back there. If he has another huge week against Pittsburgh, I think he moves it to the elite tier.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when you score 3 tuds. It doesn't matter how many passes you catch when you're scoring 3 touchdowns.
And he's so good too.
Yep. He's got to be. He's got to be for that team.
Yeah.
My number 2 ranked running back this week, just because I think he's going to have a big game against Detroit. Dalvin Cook finds the elite tier. He is our average RB4 this week, right behind Derrick Henry. He started off pretty slow. I expected bounce back week. Kirk, when he was under pressure, didn't look good. Hopefully they give the ball to Dalvin Cook more. I would expect a big week.
Yep. James Robinson is going to go right behind Clyde. If James Robinson looks like James Robinson one more time, I think he moves up a little bit. I have him at 17. You have him at 24. You're not as confident. Maybe they get down against the Chargers and have to throw a lot. Maybe that's why you have him so low.
Yeah, and Travis Etienne isn't going away.
I just think James Robinson is going to be guaranteed 15 carries. That might be crazy to say, but James Robinson can make that work.
I don't necessarily think he's guaranteed that many. I think it's got to be the right game script like they had against Indy where he'll get those carries. My concern is Travis Etienne isn't going anywhere. Essentially a rookie running back since it didn't play last year. They're going to use him. And I think it just takes one big game for Etienne to potentially leapfrog him.
Yep.
Next, we got Darrell Henderson. He is our RB 28. I think he's at the back end of the decent tier. Cam Akers is starting to come on, but Henderson looked all right as well. It's a tough one. I don't want anything to do with that backfield just because there's such a big chance it's the other guy. So
I feel bad for people who drafted Cam Akers. Do
you think he's a buy low candidate?
I'm gonna give you some names. You tell me if you would trade him. J.K. Dobbins.
Would I trade J.K. for Cam Akers?
Yes.
No.
Travis Etienne.
Oh.
I wouldn't.
No, I like the upside of Etienne.
Would you trade Darrell Henderson for Cam Akers?
Yes.
Michael Carter.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Chase Edmonds?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, we still believe in Cam Akers a little bit, but it is wavering.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. I'm glad I don't have him.
Yeah, I think I have him in one league. It was my 8-team league, my Yahoo league, which is your favorite. But I drafted him as my fourth running back. Or I had Nick Chubb, and then I got Kamara and McCaffrey, so he's my fourth running back. So he's sitting on the bench. Makes me want to puke. I know you're going to hate me for this. You probably think he's like right here. But he is right here for me. I think he could leapfrog into the elite tier.
I think he already is in the elite tier. I just want that on record. Dude's a stud.
I know. I think he is a stud too. I think he is.
And you have him ranked higher than me this week.
Where do we have him ranked? I am at 7. You have him 8. That's DeAndre Swift is so good. I know you're gonna hate me for this. I do see a little regression coming.
I want to see how he practices this week because that ankle does have me a little nervous. But he looked good.
Is he the RB 2 or 3 this year?
He's got to be like 3 or 4, isn't he? Let me see.
Yeah. So I saw where ESPN had trade value charts. They had
did you?
They had DeAndre Swift at 4.
Deservingly so, in my opinion. Deservingly so.
I just don't think he should be above Jonathan Taylor or anybody in that elite tier.
RB2.
Yeah, RB2. And that's not PPR. He probably has.
He's number 2. He's number 2 in both.
I'm trying to look at the list. Is Nick Chubb number 1?
Let me see. I will find out in 2 seconds.
I am trying to find somebody here. It's got to be Nick Chubb.
Probably. Yep, Nick Chubb is averaging, and this is in standard, 21.8. Swift is averaging 19.1.
Yeah, I was trying to look at the list. A lot of people have had good week 1 or 2. Not both, but DeAndre Swift, Nick Chubb have. I think you're up with Javonte.
Yep, next we've got Javonte Williams. He is our RB9. Falls right behind DeAndre Swift. Yeah, not the best matchup against San Fran. I feel like he's being wasted. I feel like he's super talented. The offense has got to get clicking. He's having like okay weeks in a dysfunctional offense so far. Once they get going, though, I expect Javonte to be middle to low end RB1. He gets plenty of passing game work. If they can just get Melvin Gordon out of there,
yeah,
Javonte is so much better. So
and get that offense rolling.
Yeah, that's why.
All right, I have a little bit of something here. I think Austin Eckler in PPR is right here. I think he is an elite. In standard, I have him right here at great.
Mm-hmm.
We do these in half PPR. What do you think?
I'm going great. He has not looked too good.
We'll keep it at a clean top 5. We have him at 6. I have him at 6. You have him at 7. You know, if the touchdowns aren't there, we all knew touchdown regression was coming, but we all know touchdowns are coming for Austin Eckler. I do see him finding the end zone. He had 10 catches last week, so that's why I say PPR. He is still elite. Standard, he might be. You know, if you have Austin Eckler,
you're starting him.
We're fighting great elite here. So
yeah, unless you're playing like a 4-team league. Lastly, we have Rashad Penny. He is our RB23 right ahead of Damien Harris in the good tier. If the game script goes against Seattle, they don't use him. And when it's an okay game script, they sort of use him. And Kenneth Walker doesn't help. He's super talented. Is a big play waiting to happen. It pisses me off watching Seattle games. They got a good matchup against Atlanta, even though Atlanta's been good against the run so far. I don't expect that to continue. He's probably a low-end RB2 flex play this week. Probably closer to flex. If you're playing him, I think you're banking on either he falls in the end zone or a long touchdown because I don't know why they don't go to him more. I think he's really good.
What's funny about this is we're talking about if they get into negative game scripts, they don't use them. It's crazy that I think Atlanta could get up big or get up quick. Let's say that. I could see boom, Drake London touchdown, boom, Kyle Pitts touchdown, 14-0, 2 minutes left in the first quarter. I could see that.
Travis Homer jots onto the field, doesn't leave.
That's what they do. You know Travis Homer played more snaps than Rashad Penny? I'm sure you do know that.
I do, yeah. I watched the game. I was disappointed. Hard to watch, but it is what it is.
Sickening.
We are still tied for the lead in the NFC West.
There you go.
And Gino, we trust a little bit.
There you go. Check out the Twitter, the FF Fanatics 3, where we post daily and try to help you out. Sorry to Kyle Phillips, guy.
Sometimes, unintentionally screw you over, but that's the joy of fantasy football.
Yeah, exactly. We do our best. The FFFanatics.com rankings. Well, we got rankings. We got tiers that are updated weekly. We usually update the tiers on a Wednesday or Thursday. Our NFL predictions. Even though that's becoming a little outdated now, it's so sad. We can go look how we're doing in those. But got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're here. Hope you enjoy the content. Let us know what you do, what you don't like. Share it with a friend. Help us grow. We love helping you guys win your championships. And be on the lookout. Wide receivers coming tomorrow on Thursday, correct?
Yep.
Yep. So be sure to catch us. Be sure to catch us in the next video. Once again, subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.